from CBS42 News with local coverage you can count on. Here's what's happening right now.
We begin with breaking news in Birmingham where 2 students were shot at Huffman High School. Good evening. I'm Sherry Jackson.
And I'm Jim Dunaway. This happening at Huffman High School late this afternoon as students were preparing to leave school. CBS42 News reporter Michael Clark live on the scene. And Michael, give us the latest update.
Very active scene in the last 90 seconds. We watched Birmingham Mayor Randall Woodfin, the public information officer for the Birmingham Police Department, one of the head officials with Birmingham City Schools, all walk in to that building where we were told they're going to have a briefing before they come out and talk with the media. But again, what we understand is that 2 students, according to Birmingham Fire, had injuries after what officials are calling an accidental shooting here at the campus of Huffman High School. Inside, they responded to reports of shots fired. We have not been able to get any more detailed information from Birmingham Police just yet as they continue to get all of the statements and official information from the people in the school. But again, we just watched the mayor go inside. We were told by the public information officer that he would give us an update once he spoke with the mayor, so we know that's what's going on inside right now, and we expect to hear some more information, some updated information here within the next couple of minutes. As soon as we get more information, we'll come back out here live to make sure we take that news conference here live on air at CBS42. But again, a lot of the parents and students have moved off campus from here now, where they kind of are reuniting in some of the shopping center areas for parents to pick up their kids. I know that's where CBS42 News reporter Hillary Simon is at, so hopefully we'll hear some information on what she's seeing as well. But for now, reporting live out in front of Huffman High School, where we're still waiting for BPD. I'm Michael Clark, CBS42 News, local coverage you can count on.
Michael, thank you. And sadly, we can update one of the shooting victims has died. That is information we've confirmed with the officials involved in this case.
Yeah, en route to the hospital is what we're being told. And the other student, the other person, victim, is in stable but critical condition. We'll continue to update that. We're awaiting on a news conference. In the meantime, let's get back out live to Hillary Simon, who has been talking with parents and students about what they saw and heard from the outside and the inside. Hillary?
Yeah, Jim, I've been speaking to parents and students today, and as you can imagine, a lot of them are just in complete shock right now of what happened. Joining me, though, is one of the students here and his family as well. So I know you said you were a junior here at the school. Tell me what happened inside that you heard.
When I was walking down the hallway, it was 8th period. The bell had just rung. They said that somebody was in the school with a gun shooting. And me, I didn't believe it, and I was walking down the hallway. And when I saw the teacher pointing saying run, I started running. And when I heard they said one of our football players did the shooting, it was one of the best safeties we had. He had got an offer to Clemson, and now he messed it up, and he in critical condition.
What's your reaction knowing this happened in your own high school?
I didn't believe it until when I saw it, when Florida did it, one of the police officers said that it was going to happen in Birmingham, and they said it was going to happen right here at Huffman, because they find guns on students almost every day. So.
Do you feel safe right now?
No, ma'am. So, like, right now, I'm not going here next year. And that's a promise.
And I know this is your family as well who's been standing out there. This is your cousin, you were telling me. Your brother, were you guys this is your brother. Was he texting you when this happened?
I had called him because I didn't know where he was and I was scared, so, you know.
Well,
my brother's still in there, so they trying to get him out of there now.
Your brother is still inside right now. Has he been texting you, telling you what's going on?
No, ma'am.
So right now we believe just students are in there being interviewed of what happened. Did you hear gunshots?
No, ma'am. I just heard a lot of kids running. So, and I didn't believe when they said that they were shooting, but now I see that it happens. And when I saw it happen in Florida, I didn't believe that it was going to happen in the state of Birmingham, in the state of Alabama. So,
Great. Well, thank you guys so much again for joining us.
Hillary Simon on the scene. They're talking with some students. One student who was inside the building, and you know, lots of rumors going on. We can confirm that one of the shooting victims did die en route to the hospital. Our newsroom has confirmed that information. As for who was involved in the shooting, that has not been determined. We're waiting at this point to hear from Birmingham police officially as to who was involved and what happened. What this initially, when we broke in with breaking news, we were told this was an accidental shooting. So again, clearly there was a gun inside the school, because we do know it did happen inside that school.
That's right. And we spoke earlier to the captain for the Birmingham Fire Department, Harold Watson, who said his department was on the scene very quickly as well. Once the place was secured, they were inside treating everyone inside that was involved in the shooting. So that was part of the scene as it developed this afternoon.
And some of those reports, the 2 students injured and 1 adult apparently having some sort of residual effect from the shock of the scene of being there on site where there was a shooting. You can imagine in this day and age where we've had school shootings, that to get those reports that there's a shooting inside the school where you are, when that information initially goes out, all you know is that there is a shooter on campus. Some students were locked down, parents arriving there to pick up their children. The school, we're told from some parents, did alert parents as to what was going on. But when they got there, we saw earlier when we broke in with this at 4 o'clock that, you know, you saw students and parents embracing, people happy to see their children. And sadly, at this point, as we await this news conference with Birmingham police, one of the victims in this shooting has died.
Mayor Randall Woodfin of Birmingham, and this is a Birmingham City school, Huffman High School, was notified about the situation very early on, and we do know that Birmingham police have been in contact with the mayor this afternoon, and we'll wait and see if we hear from him as well. But again, a news conference is coming your way live here as soon as it begins, as we continue the live look there at Huffman High School this afternoon. Now at 5:06, a shooting happening, you know, well over 90 minutes ago.
Let's get back to Michael Clark, who is there on the scene awaiting that news conference. Michael, this happened towards the end of the school day. We heard from a student who said it was 8th period. What can you tell us about what you've been able to gather in the time since we talked to you beginning at 4?
Well, right now we're still trying to get a hold of some of the students. They've been kind of ushered off campus to go to some of these parking lots, so we've not been able to speak with any of the parents. We just obviously had the information about the student passing away. I can tell you when we were on the way here, it was right around 4 o'clock at rush hour, and we watched the 2 ambulances that were leaving Huffman High School at a very high rate of speed, escorted by Birmingham police, going as fast as they could, as safe as they could, to try to get both of those students to hospitals. And again, we obviously just got that awful confirmation that one of those students has passed away, and we're still trying to get some more information about what led up to what, again, they are calling an accidental shooting, according to officials here at the high school. But we watched Mayor Randall Woodfin walk inside the building just a few minutes ago with city officials, school leaders, Birmingham police officials. They are obviously inside talking about what went on this afternoon, and we hope to hear some more information from them. And as we've watched some of the traffic dissipate here, we've seen several people who were not aware of what was going on before asking us, you know, what's been going on at the high school. Several people taking out their phones, concerned, but some of the traffic is starting to thin out here as all of the students and the parents have gotten off campus, off of the premises, while this investigation picks up and continues to go on. So we are kind of in a waiting mode outside of the high school for the officials to come out and give us some of that information, as the parents and students have gone off campus to some of the other areas to reunite and to make sure that everybody gets home safe. So as soon as we get any more information or see any sign of city officials, school officials, or police officials, we'll of course break back in from here outside of the high school. But for now, reporting live outside Huffman High School, Michael Clark, we'll send it back to you.
Okay, that's Michael Clark reporting again. This is happening towards the end of the school day where people are coming and going. One student said 8th period. Sometimes 8th period is that time of day where, you know, some students leave, some students are still there. A lot of practice is going on at that time for extracurricular activities. So we are waiting again to get official word from Mayor Randall Woodfin, who, as Michael said, is inside the school, as we recap what happened here sometime after 3 o'clock, a shooting at Huffman High School. Birmingham police telling us that shooting was accidental. One student has died as a result of that accidental shooting. Our reporters have not been able to question police about what went on, why they were able to determine that it was an accident so quick. They are waiting to be able to do that once they have this news conference.
All right, so with one fatality and one other person seriously injured, we'll take a quick break. We'll come back with our continuing coverage of breaking news from Huffman High School. You're watching CBS 42 News at 5. Welcome back. Breaking news of a shooting at Huffman High School today.
We just received this statement from Birmingham City Schools confirming some of what we've already told you from police. The 2 students were involved in a shooting. This happened at dismissal today at Huffman High School. The school was placed on lockdown and police were called to that scene. Students have been released from the school and police are actively investigating the circumstances surrounding the shooting. And that's all they have been able to say here. And we know at this hour that one of those students has died.
That has been confirmed through multiple sources by our CBS 42 newsroom. Hillary Simon is on the scene out there as well. Let's bring her back in. She's been getting reaction from parents and students all afternoon. Hillary?
Well, Jim, I'm standing right now by one woman. She says her little cousin goes to school here, and she's been in contact with her cousins as well, and she's a graduate here. What did you hear from your little cousin who goes here?
She pretty much was very, very frantic when I spoke with her. Initially, when we got here, she was nowhere to be found. We couldn't get in touch with her via her cell phone. I actually found out about the school shooting coming into the parking lot. I saw a couple of mothers running that were very, very frantic. I pulled over on the side and stopped one of the mothers and asked them what had happened, and she said that it was a shooting inside the school. So I immediately pulled up here, in which I was actually going to a store this way, and when I heard about shooting, I'm like, my cousin goes here, so I immediately thought to come here to make sure my cousin was okay.
What was your reaction when you heard that there was a shooting here?
I was very, very frustrated. Like I said, I couldn't get in touch with my cousin. I couldn't get her to answer the phone. I was standing on the lawn. I saw several children coming out, so it was very, very frustrating because I'm like, where's my cousin? I see all of these other kids, but I don't see her. So I kind of went into panic mode, definitely panic mode.
Yeah, you're saying kids were coming out of here. How did they all look? Did they all look freaked out?
Very much so freaked out. There were a lot of children running. Parents were running from this direction to try to get to the school. A lot of kids were crying. I seen a lot of the teachers had actually came outside to try to console them. The students were actually consoling each other. It was a very horrific scene. It was very, very sad.
And you've been in touch with your little cousin. She's already out of the building, you said, and she left?
She did make it out of the building safely. From what she told me, that she was actually on her way out of the school when she heard the gunshot. She said that when she heard the gunshots, the teacher's classroom that she had just came out of actually pulled her back into the classroom so that she couldn't leave or whatever. And she said they pretty much held them there until they figured out what happened, and then they, let all the kids go once they got everything under control.
So what is your overall feelings right now after this whole incident?
My overall feelings is I'm very, very disappointed with the school. The reason why I'm very disappointed with the school is I've actually spoken to my cousin and my friend that's actually in my car. Her younger sister actually goes here. She's a freshman here. And we spoke to both of them as well as spoke to other kids that are students here. And information I gathered from the students was that Huffman High School actually has metal detectors that they only use for football games. So it's very, very concerning, because my issue is, if you guys can use these metal detectors for football games, why can't they be used when the students come in and out of the school, before class starts, to make sure before these students even start their classes that they're guaranteed to be safe throughout the school. And I know, some things can be slip through the crack, but at one point do you decide to implement these metal detectors to make sure these kids as well as this faculty is safe through here? Because no child should feel like they're coming to school and they're not safe. It's not fair to the other kids and to the staff that works here.
I always thought it would happen somewhere else. It never happens here, but it has happened here this afternoon at Huffman High School.
And people are responding. Congresswoman Terry Sewell, who represents this district, saying it's heartbreaking for the families, for the victims. Pray with her for the victims and the families, especially, a child killed in this incident. But that's from Congresswoman Terry Sewell, who's responding to this shooting. And again, it happening here. Captain Watson with the fire department telling us he cannot recall a time that there was a shooting inside a school. In my 20 years here, I cannot recall a time that we had a shooting inside a school. But the cousin made an interesting point there, that there is a metal detector, and she says the metal detector is just used for football games. And so the concern about students' guns, because what we have reported on is guns being in schools. Students, we have a student, a middle school student in Tuscaloosa today, where there was a gun found, again, this gun inside the school.
And we heard from the student who joined us during our breaking news coverage in the 4 o'clock hour that he says he is fearful of going to school there, and it's his feelings, his words. We can't confirm his own feelings, his words, but he says he's fearful of going to school because he sees guns on campus all the time, was his words, that people bring guns to school all the time there, and that is something that is being debated locally, and it's being debated in the state government down in Montgomery and in Washington with Representative Sewell on almost a daily basis right now.
You're watching some of the students and parents at Huffman High School. This is the end of the day after this shooting that happened sometime after 3 o'clock during dismissal, is what the school statement said, which is a time of day where people can come and go sometimes in some of these buildings. It's easy to kind of blend in and to get out. So we're not sure if that plays a part at all. We're working to get information and waiting on this news conference with Mayor Randall Woodfin, who is inside the school, and Birmingham police, who are doing this investigation, being able to tell us specifically what happened. We know that a child has lost their life as a result of this shooting. We know that another child was shot. What we were told from police is that this was an accidental shooting.
Hillary, who do you have there, and update us on what you've now learned?
Yeah, well, I actually have a teacher here at the school. He's kind of a trade of all things. He says his name's Al, but you work at the school, so what do you specifically do here?
I'm like one to help with like a mentor, hall monitor, do like morning duties out here, after school duty, work the games, take the picture for the kids and stuff like that, and talk to the kids and stuff like that. I wanted to help us up here and stuff like that.
So were you inside when this all happened?
Oh, I did not know the shooting. I was off for a couple of days, and I heard about the shooting, and someone says Chicago's. They got shot at the school, and see, we had the same problem last year up here. And this is a good school. And so this is a good school. It's not no bad school, but people get this school a bad name. But the thing about it, if parents sit down and talk to their children, they would know what go in their children's school. And we got some good kids up here, and we got some good teachers that work up here. We got some good people up here, the principal, all the people, everybody good up here. But we need people praying for the school, not posting stuff on Facebook, not talking that crazy stuff. And not on that, we need parents to talk to their children. That's what they're going to do in their children's school. Then I heard they had something at Park. They doing something all, but every time something happen in this school, it's on Facebook. That make the school look bad. And the first thing that parents would say, or the teachers are doing, they not doing their job. But how can you say they not doing their job? Y'all not up here with them when I seen kids being disrespectful, cussing the teachers out. When the teacher tell them to cut, they want to get an attitude. Then when the teacher talking when they go, they want to call these folks. That's why we need people talk to their children.
Yes.
That's all. Yeah.
Yes, thank you so much, Al. As you could heard, though, you know, he was a little off campus and stuff, but he was talking to other people and stuff. These are his students, and I've been talking to parents and students as well. Again, the same thing I've just been reiterating all day, but just that everybody's just kind of in shock this all happened.
5:25 now. Our breaking news coverage continues here inside the 5 o'clock news. Jim Dunaway along with Sherry Jackson and a team of reporters and photographers on the scene at different locations after a shooting today at Huffman High School. One fatality and one person in critical condition.
We showed you just before the break the scene at the hospital. Our Jack Royer is there at UAB Hospital. Jack, what can you tell us?
Sherry, we can show you what we're seeing and what we're hearing. It is obviously the worst day of some of these people's lives, as what we're hearing is family members reacting to what has to be terrible news. We're hearing screams behind us. Just moments ago, literally seconds ago, family members out here crying and holding each other. We heard loud screams as these parents and family members got some bad news. Now, we have understood, as we've been reporting, that at least one person has died as a result of the shooting at Huffman High School. Christian, walk with me down here. We're going to walk down the street. We're in between 4th Avenue and 5th Avenue South at UAB Hospital. And as we walk around here, this is the emergency intake for UAB's North Pavilion. They have quickly sort of gotten these family members out from where they were. As we said, obviously tragic, terrible news that they have just received as people here at UAB Hospital are just having to cope and react to what has happened. We know those students were transported to UAB earlier, and we're waiting to see sort of what's going on here as these people are really dealing with some tragic news this afternoon. Jim, Sherry, back to you.
Yes, Jack, the tragedy, of course, one student has died. You're looking live now again at Huffman High School, where there are still people around the scene just trying to take in all of what has gone on. A shooting this afternoon, 2 students were told accidentally shot. One of the students has died. Their family, they're at the location at UAB Hospital where Jack Royer is, and now at the scene at the school. Some people were arriving because there were after-school activities. The soccer game that would have been going on at Huffman High has been canceled this afternoon, but people are still there just trying to process how a gun got into school during dismissal at the end of the day.
And oftentimes in situations like this, the people on the scene that you may have been seeing there, just hearing about the condition of one of the people, the victim being passing away this afternoon, and that information now maybe just getting to the folks there on campus at Huffman High School.